Peace and love. Peace and love to all. We open our divine meeting in the name of our divine creator. We're going to open this meeting up with what we are under. What law? What law is all under? We coming from Sufa 31, the law. 7, the first law. We coming under the first law. The first law is divine law. And so the law of all la'ah. All la'ah is the divine creator of all things, the collection of all words, the collection of all ideas, the collection of all forms. There is nothing greater than the divine creator. Thus, all law must come from the divine, and all law are. If we haven't heard that from any law book, then we may not be studying divine law.
Well, we're not.
So we want to put on the record for all humanity that all of humanity is under divine law, and that all law in all societies, if it's not derived from divine and our divine creator, then it's not law at all. If all are not equal, then it's not divine law. We want to be clear on why divine law is so important, because divine law is the protectorate of your body, yourself, and your spirit. And we must understand, how did we come here? What is upholding our Constitution? And at the day of judgment, what be the judge over all? Number 20, yet a law made by men. That can be any group of rulers or any group or board of governors. Any law made by men can never be greater than a natural law. Can never be greater. That's big for us to hear and know.
I'm hoping they're listening.
Because men have made laws.
That's right.
But if we didn't know the first law, then we may think that this is part of the first law. So this is why we have to be mindful and be honest within our dealings. And it also says that the law made by men, we know if it can't be greater than natural law, then it can't be greater than divine law. And this is what we all will have to answer to as humanity. And this is how we reestablish ourselves, our families, and our communities back to the resurrection of the Lord, the creator of all existence, the Lord of this universe that we are in. We on a divine path, which is a commandment from the divine creator to acquire knowledge, an obligation for every one who loves their creator. And so we're going to go to some more words of the creator. We're going to be going to our instruction from the Tao Te Ching. We finished on 34, so we'll be picking up on 35. We're making our way.
Yes, indeed.
35. Humane power. Hold fast to the great thought, and all the world will come to you. Harmless, peaceable, serene. Walking around, we stop for music, for food. But if you taste the way, it's flat, insipid. It looks like nothing much. It sounds like nothing much. And yet you can get enough of it. You can't get enough of it.
That's that.
Yes. And all humanity have it in them. And I like how it's adjective described this experience. It looks like nothing much.
That's right.
It sounds like nothing much, just like when we're saying divine law. It sounds like nothing much. You ain't never heard it, so it seems like it must not be nothing. But we talking heaven follows the way. And we hope humanity follow in heaven.
And you know, it's just about like when you breathe, don't seem like nothing much because people don't think much of it. But can't get enough of that breath and see what happens.
That's right.
Hold your breath for some seconds and see what happens. And you can appreciate breathing.
And that opening, hold fast to the great thought. It's some thought that we need to understand.
Yep.
This is why we have purpose and we also have existence. To see, can we perform at this highest level by holding fast to the greatest thought and living our daily lives, holding fast to this greatest thought. It's something that we want, if we understand it deep enough through experience, we can't get enough of it. It's a powerful thing.
And we do know this for a fact, that a lot of thoughts are going on in a person's head and on his mind. Are they good thoughts? Are they evil thoughts? And these thoughts that we hold fast to, whether it's evil or bad, or good or peaceful. The good thought would be harmless, peaceable, serenity. But the evil thoughts lead to lies, murder, stealing, war, you name it, all that harms others. So we want to be careful what's going on.
That's right. As we give honor to all divine prophets, as that was words from Lao, we're going to go to some words from Isa or Jesus. And Jesus said to his disciples, truly, I say to you, it is hard for a man with much money to go into the kingdom of heaven. Now, much money, that looks like so.
Yes, in some people's eyes.
And the way we talk about it looks like nothing. So there's a statement in both words that is giving us a deep understanding that this sounds like nothing much, that it's hard for a man with much money. Why would it be hard for a man? But it said hard for a man with something, with much money to go into the kingdom of heaven. 24, and again I say to you, it is simpler for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a man which with much money to go into the kingdom of God. This is very connective to the way. Remember, Jesus said, I'm the way. We're going in different perspectives of the way and seeing the congruency of how all the divine prophets have left the same message in their time period. And that we are in such a blessed position to have all these prophets come before us and all these teachings being recorded. And now that we have them all in our repository, that we have for independent study and livable action.
Have you ever observed people with much money, just say millionaires and billionaires, how they act, how they do, how they behave? And all of them just about don't believe in helping the poor. I'm often hearing the United States of America bragging about one of the richest countries in the world and have all this money, but they won't yet help the poor. So many people of poverty is on the streets being without, but yet they brag about how rich they are.
And this is why those who are the believers supposed to have a understanding of the words of their creator. Because if we don't, then the believer's going to be considered in error. As once Jesus said, you are in error, as in ourselves are in error, not having knowledge of the writings. See, when we just read divine law, that's in the writings. You may not have heard men of rulership even speak about divine law. So one who is a believer don't need to be told. He know by being what he knows. So once they understand through the knowledge of the writings or of the power of the Creator, see, we'll have all the answers that we need to try to traverse over all evil. When this saying put on the armor of the Creator, this is the knowledge of the writings. When we step into the world, you're going to need the great thought.
That's right.
The great thought is what no weapon can prosper over. This comes from a knowledge that is imbued in the understanding of these writings from all the divine prophets. And remember, all these divine prophets get all their knowledge from the angels. So all of their knowledge is angelic knowledge. Here to combat the animality in, sometimes that can be in man and woman. If we don't learn the teachings of how to subdue our personal desires. If we don't learn how to take up the cross. So as we return to some more divine words.
The small dark light. What seeks to shrink must first have grown. What seeks weakness surely was strong. What seeks in ruin must first have risen. What seeks to take has surely given. This is called the small dark light, the soul. The weak prevail over the hard, the strong.
Small dark light.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big expression in small words.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the harmony of life throughout this interaction.
That's right. When you look at the human life, how it rises and then becomes weak. It becomes strong. In them latter years and them times that everything begin to get weaker. You see it in man, you see it in woman. The same verse I just read.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How we were once strong when we were young, and as we become elders and getting older, we begin to weaken.
And how this entails a great spiritual insight of how strong the weak is.
Yeah.
How it said the weak prevail over the hard. Because when we look at that time of death or old body, it gets strong and rigid, stiff. It almost can't bend. Then the newborn is so limber, bendable, flexible. So when it comes to that much money, it helps constrict the self and loses its flexibility. Because the more closer you are to nothing, the more flexible you are to all. It's not when you draw into a certain position is where you come constricted. And this is important also that Jesus says to us, to them in answer, take care that you are not tricked. See, this is very important. How cautious are we being in matters of faith? That we are not being tricked out of our faith. For people will come in my name saying, I am the Christ. Come on, we done seen 2,000 years of recorded history.
Right here in this country.
And a number will be turned from the true way through them, the tricksters. See, just like the writing said that the true God is alone and in the true way. See, and we want to understand that the Al-Sufian is the true way, as you see it in the writings. So the Creator is the true way. And the most important thing we need to know is that Christ did use the name of the Creator. Christ knew the name of the Creator was Allah. And if you trace the language back, you will see it for yourself. But we have to understand what came before. Because all this didn't happen overnight. This is a long line. Before there was a timeline of BC and AD. So they scattered and shattered the timeline and had all of us spread it near and far. Scattered amongst the flock. And that was the trickers. So we will have no connection to who we are And if we don't know who we are, then we wouldn't know who each other is. These are some very important lessons that we need to get while we're alive. Okay, I'll take the next divine instruction, 37. Overall. Overall, the way never does anything, and everything gets done. We're talking about the creator now.
Yes, indeed.
Ain't nothing greater than the divine creator. The creator's way never does anything and gets everything done. That's some before we go farther, that's some power, ain't it? Omnipotence. Never does. Have we seen our creator? Personally, like we seen the human form. That's it. So we gotta really take this in. We see the human flesh that the creator created.
That's right.
But the creator is unseen. So how could we see what he's doing? But somehow everything gets done.
Yes,
the
indeed.
sun rise.
Yes, indeed.
The grass grow.
Yes, indeed.
The birds chirp.
And this moment,
right. And Lord, behold, mercy on earth. Our next line says, if those in power could hold to the creator's way, the 10,000 things will look after themselves. That's the lion laying with the lamb.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And if you observe his creation and everything that the eye behold, you will see just that.
Just that. Just that.
Look at the moon. Look at the sun. Look at the sea. Just look at everything.
It's so beautiful and in harmony.
In harmony.
When we step out in nature, we see harmony.
We see harmony.
Everything getting done. We can't see the grass grow, but it's growing.
It's growing.
It's getting done.
It moves so gradually you can't see it.
That's some beautiful things. As we say in the dark, small light.
Yeah.
Look like nothing much, but something great happening. Our next line says, if even so they try to act. We're talking about the rulers, if they can hold to the creator's way. I would quiet them with the nameless. And what is the nameless? The natural. What we see every day that we have become to call names is trees, rocks, birds. They are really in effort nameless. Think about that. Did the tree tell you his name is tree? Oak tree?
Oh.
I'm the cypress tree?
Mm-hmm.
Or did the tree say no name at all?
Mm-hmm.
See, we learning the divine way, the divine law, and the natural law simultaneously together. Husband and wife. This is what they didn't want us to tap into, the great marriage, the sacred union. So if we know and understand now that the things in nature have no name, because man have gave them names.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that that's their name. So this is why we have to take a step back and understand that every living thing is the creator.
That's right.
But every living thing ain't the creator. This is the beautiful harmony in life that we find in within. And before I finish that one up, we got to go to the word.
While you're looking for that, and if you notice that all that you behold, it shares with man and woman. The tree, the bird, the bee, the sun, the moon, the wind, all share in beneficent man.
It's the glory that humanity has. And these tricksters wanted to trick them out of it by convincing them through deep belief.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this was not so. That's why we have to be careful not to be tricked by these wrongdoers. And I said to him, why do you say I am good? Question mark. No one is good, but one. And that is the creator. You have knowledge of what is said in the law. What law? The divine law. Do not put anyone to death. Do not be untrue in married life. Do not take what is not yours. Do not give false witness. Do not get money by deceit. Give honor to your father and mother. And he said to him, Master, all these laws I have kept from the time when I was young. And I saw, looking on him and loving him, said, there is one thing needed. Go get money for your goods and give it to the poor. We heard earlier about the rich never give to the poor. This is what we were stating earlier about much money. Much money. It's hard for a man with much money to enter the kingdom of love. For your faith is not complete until you love one another. told the wealthy man, get your money and give it to the poor, and you will have wealth in heaven.
Oh no.
Have that been done yet from the rich Christians?
No.
Let's bring that on the table. From the rich Christian.
Yes.
Let's bring this on the table.
Mm-hmm.
From the rich Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring this on the table.
Mm-hmm.
We know these two groups got plenty money.
Plenty money, honey.
Plenty money.
Yes, they do.
And they give not to the poor. So what wealth are they looking to achieve? Is it the wealth of this world? Be in this world, but not of this world?
Right on.
Or is it the wealth in heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Say, store your treasures where man cannot steal, where mold do not grow, where rust do not come. Store your treasures in heaven. And where your treasures are, there shall your heart. This is the faith that was carried forth. As I finish my last paragraph. In the unnamed, in the unshapen, is not wanted. Is not wanted. Want. How many of us want something?
I want.
If we can tap into the unnamed and the unshapen, then we will no longer need even want. We can hang want up like a coat on a hanger.
Yes, indeed.
And pick it up when you need it for the weather. My last line, in not wanting is stillness. What a perfect definition. In not wanting is stillness. In stillness, all under heaven rests. We got a clue to that. It said the 7th day, the Creator rests. We didn't see sleep. There's a difference. You ever been rested? And you ever been sleeping? Then from your own experience, you know the difference.
That's right.
There's a greatness. This is the great thought. People say, I can't stop thinking. I keep thinking. See, and that's what it was saying. In thinking, there is stillness. We got to find the stillness within the thinking. And there you will find heaven of what we say, I saw long. The same heaven that Christ has. You are. All right.
about power. Great power, not clinging to power, has true power. Lesser power, clinging to power, lacks true power. Great power, doing nothing, has nothing to do. Lesser power, doing nothing, has an end in view. The good, the truly good do has no end in view. The right, the very righteous do has an end in view. And those who act in true obedience to law roll up their sleeves and make the disobedient obey. So, when we lose the way, we find power. Losing power, we find goodness. Losing goodness, we find righteousness. Losing righteousness, we're left with obedience. Obedience to law is the dry husk of loyalty and good faith. Opinion is the barren flower of the way, the beginning of ignorance. So great-minded people abide in the kernel, not the husk. In the fruit, not the flower. Letting the one go, keeping the other.
It's like being at a beach watching the ebb and flow. The Creator's way so powerful. Talking about power. When men talk of power, I know that should be some great feminine power right there. That's a whole nother view and look. Opinion is the beginning of ignorance. That's the barren flower of the way. We don't want to be filled with opinions. As we see, this is why he said, as in Christ, truth will make you free. Not opinion will make you free. Point the way and preach the gospel of the holy breath and the resurrection of the dead. This is all in cahoots.
Speaking of power, when you see the three Jolly Green Giants, the United States of America, China, and Russia, how they talk about with their power. They got the ship, they brag about their ship, their plane, their guns, and they got the biggest bomb. And they all talking about harming and hurting one another. Now this is reality, and this is what the peoples under these foolish rulers is facing. They're in Cuba backyard and all over the place, ready to flex their muscles, their arrogance. So we have to be mindful of the peoples who boast about their power and what they can do to others.
letting go one
Mm-hmm.
and keeping the other.
Oh, it's like them two masters, serving two masters.
Mm-hmm. Letting the other go and keeping the one.
Mm-hmm.
These are so powerful maxims and axioms.
Mm-hmm.
As we learn some more. Mhm. On 39.
All right. 39. Integrity. Integrity. Those who are old got to be whole. Heaven through its wholeness is pure. Earth through its wholeness is steady. Spirit through its wholeness is potent. The valley through its wholeness flows with rivers. The 10,000 things through their wholeness live. Rulers through their wholeness have authority. Their wholeness make them what they are. You just mentioned about putting on the whole armor of God. This is what it's referred to. And we must be whole. Not half, not 3/4 or 1/4, but whole. And let me remind everybody, when you don't practice wholeness, this is why we have so many people sick and ill and have all these problems that they have. They run to the doctor, seeking for help. He had them a bunch, and it's time to turn to the right. Without what makes it pure, heaven would disintegrate. What steadies it, earth would crack apart. Without what makes it potent, spirit will fail. Without what fills it, the valley would run dry. Without what quickens them, the 10,000 things would die. without what authorized them, rulers will fall. And how many times we've read stories about rulers? Because it's all about integrity. This is the topic. This is what integrity is speaking about when it's talking about wholeness. Have you ever met anybody with no integrity and no obedience in how they act, how they talk, how they speak? It ain't good. And some get so bad that you don't even want to be in their presence. The root of the noble is in the common. The high stands on what's below. Prince and kings call themselves orphans, widows, beggars, to get themselves rooted in the dirt. A multiplicity of riches is poverty. Jade is praised as precious, but its strength is being stolen. Those princes and kings, they can't get enough. They always want more. Or presidents, they can't get enough. They always want to pay them more taxes, where they can rob you, and they just can't for more. Don't fall on your sick bed, you're in the hospital. They can't get enough of your blood. They want all your blood. Look like one tube ought to be enough, but they go one tube to another. They'll fill that up and get them some more. They got sucking all your blood. They wasn't than a leak. We must be mindful of the things that surround us.
The way also says that integrity needs no rules. And with that definition of integrity describing wholeness, the earth was whole, the spirit was whole, and all this wholeness was holding all things whole. In another parlance, holy, holy, holy
Yes, indeed.
is our creator. Those spiritual insights are so profound to me. Now we should begin the essence of why Jesus was speaking the way he was speaking.
Yeah.
If we ever wanted to know, he was speaking the way. This is very good. Because this is what we call the holy breath, where everything's whole. When she, the holy breath, shall fill the earth and air, holy breath, and open up the way. That's the understanding. Open up is the Fatiha. The way is the Al-Sufian. Once we have the code, see, we can sit back and now put everything together. Because go over here, go over there, go a little bit of everywhere to recollect the writings and get a full understanding of what is said. And so now it's just a good time. It's a sunny day in heaven.
The root of the no.
Beautiful. So we have to understand why these phrases recodexing to bring to our awareness why these phrases from Jesus has been said. And we should have a clear understanding ourselves from encountering ancient truth. Here's another codex. Jesus said to him, truly, I say to you, without a new birth. What is this new birth? Is it talking about you going to be a baby again? To shrink back into a baby? New birth indicates another infancy stage. And without a new birth, no man is able to see the kingdom of the Creator. And remember, there's a part where Nicodemus wanted to know. He was questioning. There was a Noah that wanted to know. And he said, how is it possible for a man to be given birth when he is old? Question mark. Remember, we're talking about integrity.
Yeah.
You have the whole of earth, the whole of heaven, and the whole of spirit. Nicodemus said, is he able to go into his mother's body a second time and come to birth again? Question mark. And Asa said in answer, truly I say to you, If a man's birth is not from water and from the Spirit, it is not possible for him to enter the kingdom of the Creator. The new birth was indicated there.
Yep.
See, and it was called, in that parlance, the Spirit. But the way, we came the right way the first birth, we must come to the true way on the second birth. That which has birth from water is water, and that which has birth from spirit is spirit. It is necessary for you to have a second birth. Remember, how can you get to third heaven without the second birth? Or you want to experience the second death? Choice on self. But the knowledge has been. If you had knowledge of what the Creator gives freely and who it is who says to you, give me water, you would make your prayer to him, and he will give you living water. From where would you get living water? Everyone who takes this water will be in need of it again. But whoever takes the water of the way would never be in need of drink again. For the way I give, him will become a fountain of eternal life. This is what it's been saying. I hope we putting it together as I'm putting it together. So we all could be in the same place, united by our faith and completing our faith. Remember, we won't unite until we complete our faith. The second birth is necessary.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of
Oh, yes.
Speaking of baptism, many people have been baptized. And preachers, Christian all, sprinkling water, and ducking them under water. You would think, with all the baptism, that this would be a better place. And people would be better. But it look like to me, for some reason, they're falling short of something, because just look what mess we have today. due to baptism, it should be no violence. It should decrease instead of increase. And this is what we have today. That fire, that spirit, the light has gone out.
As a wise saying says, perfected man must pass through all the ways of life. Earth, heaven, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so self knows where it's at.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is what's important. There's self-awareness. Because we got to complete the mission. Degree 40. Instruction 40. By no means is our title. Sounds like our brother Malcolm of Once Upon a Time. Peace be upon him.
Yes,
Let the Creator peace. By no means. It goes a little like this. Return is how the way moves. Weakness is how the way works. Heaven and earth, 10,000 things are born of being. Being is of nothing. By no means. This is a power that we have to understand why you must take up your cross. And as it says, keep my word. Let's sprinkle that with a little understanding. Then Jesus said to the Jews who had faith in him, if you keep my word, then you are truly my disciples.
oh, yes.
And you will have knowledge of what is true. And that knowledge will make you free. And that knowledge will make you free. See, once the knowledge is delivered, then that knowledge is what set the captive free. If you want to be released from your captors, then that knowledge will make you free. If we've been searching deeply for these answers, the revelation has been revealed.
When you said that, all I could think about was the Department of Justice. How could you have a Department of Justice? And that's what it's supposed to be about, justice. Not going out, throwing people in prison and chain gangs, and violating their rights, their soul, their body, their mind, their spirit. If it is called a Department of Justice. but it's just the opposite. It says one thing and does by like them two masters. And those who've been violated can't even go and get justice. Right here in Lowndes County, a young man was slaughtered, killed, beat all to pieces. His parent was trying to get justice, and they throw them in jail. Killed their son, and throw the parents in jail. And let the crooks go. Let the murderers go. Call that justice.
Not without being weighed down by too much, because that's a lot of weight, what you just said.
It is.
It's a lot of sadness and grief, because no one deserves to be treated as such. And so we have to understand that mercy is how the way moves. So anybody done in a situation like that, they will receive mercy. If not in this life, in the next life. Because the Creator we serve is all merciful. And when innocence is murdered, innocently, then we know it is not there, that is not part of the way. Because we say Al-Rahim, the merciful. Al-Latif, the gentle. Return is how the way moves. And weakness is how the way has gentleness. So these are prime examples why one should not be tricked and to serve lesser evils. Because if they did it to him, as they say they did it to me, they're so if they would do it to you and to me, then we must stand as a community in unity, injustice everywhere, in education everywhere. Now we need the teaching and the knowledge of what the gospel is truly saying in these times, more now than ever, forever before. Because when it say, when men and women have lost their way to the Creator's way and mindful to that obedience, and everyone knew in ancient times, the devil made a law.
That's right.
And so the believers of the Creator could never fall for the devil's trick, because we understood the Creator's laws. So when the devil came with his law, we will be able to discern, because we believe in the word, and he can't have law without words. And once we understand what we need to understand, then we will know what we need to know. And if you don't understand, that means we don't know yet. And if you don't know, that means you're ready to be tricked. So we got to scurry with a hurry to knowledge and education, to inform our own selves, because the devil will not. He says ignorance is no excuse. And he say ignorance is your blessing, while the Creator say wisdom, knowing knowledge is the gift. that's going to make you free. And so the same people that murdered him in the ancient times, they would be called Jews. And so as they did in the past, so they do today.
That's correct.
The believers today is the same believers of the past. Those who do wicked today is the same in the past that was doing wicked. And the Jews took up stones to stone Jesus. And Jesus said to them, I have let you see a number of good works from the Father. For which of those works are you stoning me? This was their answer, the Jews, who still is in presence today.
Right on.
In your seats of governments, in your seats of rich.
That's right.
We are not stoning you for a good work, but for evil words, the Jews say. Because being a man, you make yourself God. This is what the Jews said. Remember, these are the groups of men that were split to create havoc and evil and cause curses upon the plain by invoking evil demon spirits of lesser hearts.
Yes, indeed.
And so that's why we have to be careful with the word God.
That's right.
Because the Jews planted that there. You see, they killed him for making him.
Yeah.
See, but that word was not God in the ancient times. Hey, so we got to come to the recollection to, oh, yes, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So what word was he using that he was calling himself? And if you trace the language back, as they would say he was speaking Aramaic, but we know Aramaic doesn't come before Arabic or pronounced Arabic. So the word God in an ancient tongue would be Illah. Illah. So this is what was said. The Jews, remember, said they hate the divine creator, Allah. And Jesus made himself. That's what we're talking about. Arm, leg, arm, head. Understanding the codex. Because being a man, you make yourself Illah. See, that's what they were saying in the ancient time. So that means Jesus was saying that there was only one deity, Allah. And we'll understand this is why we have to very, very pay close attention to the writings.
Right.
See, and we can get strictly back home through the words and understanding language that English is not what it was written in, and definitely not spoken. So that time when it was spoken is the same time of now, but they replace words. And so now we call different words due to the language shift.
And I would just like to say on that, even in the Ten Commandments, the law Moses brought down, it said, "Thou shalt have no other gods. Thou shalt not worship no other God." And they came and did just the opposite and put God. It said no God. And then they came and put the word God. Spelled all back.
And if you knew the language, they letting themselves known that the God. That's an ancient language that means the imposters.
Look at that.
God backwards means dog, and that's the beginning of the God. The imposters pretending to be God. So the same people that stoned Jesus is now playing Jesus.
That's right.
Playing God over others' life. Now, this is what was said after. In answer, in this point, using his holy name, I said, is there not a saying in your law? Your law. I said, you are God. Question mark. If he said they were gods, to whom the word of God came, do you say of him who the Father made holy and sent into the world, your words are evil? Because I said, I am God's son? Question mark. See, and this would be very key. And see, that will be said that I am Allah's son in ancient language. We did not understand due to the translators, and then having a ferry go on a language ferry, cross the sea of ignorance to find the beacon of light, the small dark light. This is important because in language shift, you would not know it. God is God. But in ancient times, God was Allah. All knew this. And this is why they had a language shift and a pronunciation lift. They lifted you out of your ancient pronunciation. And this changed the whole philosophical structure and the essence of what the writers was teaching.
And I would just like to point some other things out. They even print on money, in God we trust. And look what money makes people do: kill, steal, rob, lie, and you name it. And yet, print that on money. And then have the audacity to have everybody around the world controlled by the dollar. What they call the petrodollar now today. And you had to go through them with the dollars only. Just look at the traffic.
So everyone is trapped if you're not living the way of the word of the Creator. In all these times that have passed, Jesus' name still reigns. So if we understand, if people are still using Jesus' name, and it's clear how Jesus lived, then people who are using that name and following that way should have a better way. Because the way that was left was said that it would make you free. This is very key. So free that the people who murdering you is free to do it. Because they understand the writings. And if you don't understand the writings, you will walk into your own ignorance. No one tell nobody to move. That's why we shift from divine prophets to divine prophets. Because not wanting is stillness. If we wanted the word of the Creator, then you don't have to move. There's online, there's books, there's everything now available for you to get the knowledge and the writings of the words of the Creator. If you choose not, then that's your choice. We have to understand the way has been given, and the people who are following the way is the people ruling you in the way. This is how they gain authority.
That's right.
You should ask, who is giving these people authority? Where's your spiritual authority if you walk in the way? See, so it's just a game of knowledge until you understand. And if you choose not to understand, it will never vanquish or vanish. It will always be present. Because knowledge is the destroyer. As Thomas the doubter. So anyone who is doubting, as Thomas said, Lord, we have no knowledge of where you are going. How may we have knowledge of the way? Question mark. He asking them. The Al-Sufian wasn't present. He asking them, how are we going to know the knowledge of the Al-Sufian? You are bringing it. It's not yet written. And Asa said to him, the doubter, I am. And then we have to understand our ancient lessons and our stories. I am mean awareness. So it's telling us awareness is the true and living way. I am is the name of the Creator. YHWH, Yah's way. So we will be finding something, and we will have to be constantly aware so we can have this knowledge of the way. And so he says that awareness is the true and living way. And we will understand this awareness because it will come with the Fatiha. No one comes to the Fatiha but by me. This is Sufaya speaking before it came into existence in 610 by the reincarnation of Asa in the beloved name that is mispronounced as Muhammad. We must understand the continuation of what is being said. If you had no knowledge, of the Al-Sufian, you will have no knowledge of the Al-Fatiha. See, and this is where people in those times knew the Al-Sufian was coming, and they knew when it arrived. And from that point on, they hijacked the Sufian and created the Quran. And placed the Quran in the place that you would have received the Sufian. So as they did a trick with the Quran, they also did a trick with the Bible. And this is why the Bible and the Quran sounds like siblings when you read them together. And especially in the order of the Bible first, then the Quran. And you will see the comparison and the comparatives yourself. Then when you study the language, English wasn't used, nor Hebrew. So what was Jesus actually speaking? So that's is where you have to do your search if you don't believe what is being said. Because seek and you shall find. Ask and you shall be known. Knock and it shall be given. We was given codexes to let us know the Sufiyan was coming. Remember, this was 33 AD in their time period. Gregorian calendar of Caesar, Rome, and the Jews together. What we are talking about comes in 610 after Christ has passed and went into the higher form, as it say, make a place in heaven. And that the place in heaven was going to be just like it is on earth, and it's going to be called the way. But you got to stay aware, because if you're not, you're going to miss the boat. Because the tricksters have been far and wide. False prophets have gone into the world. False speakers have flooded the world in a time period of now. That only the knower of the knowledge will have the gnosis of truth. Remember, he used to question to see how aware they was. Who am I?
Yep. Who do you think I am?
This is very important. So this is why we get after Jesus' death and resurrection, we get I saw long. The teachings of heaven. The teachings of the Creator's way. I shall send you a comforter. In all truth, and he will speak in my name. I saw long. The prophet that's coming is divine. He's not going to use the name that has been defiled. Jesus' name has been defiled. So a holy name was given And that name represents the teachings itself. I saw long. That's why the Hebrews called them Isus. The Christians called them Jesus.
Yeah.
The Nazarenes called them Yahshua. Those was all before the Sufian came. And yes, he is all those names. But at least I don't want my people to miss the boat. The opening is open. And everything that came into existence, it came from nothing. We call this divine nothing Al-Mujizia. This is where you later get Jesus. This is the way of the nothing, which is now called knowledge. Nothing, no, nothing. Knowledge all begins with the same root word. No. And so everything was built out of nothing because knowledge is not made out of anything. Beings are. Being is born from nothing. So we have to understand self was born from nothing. This is the miracle that all is trying to get back to as the redemption and salvation of their own self. This is why much money and the eye of a needle can't go together. Because in the middle of the eye of the needle is nothing. And spirit is no thing. So in order to enter the kingdom, you have to understand the knowledge of no thing. Flesh can't inhabit the kingdom of the spirit. For flesh is a thing, a being. So we're talking about the miracle. This is the great miracle, the way. As we move to our next, and we got 17 minutes remaining. That quick.
On and off. Thoughtful people hear about the way and try hard to follow it. Ordinary people hear about the way and wander onto it and off it. Thoughtless people hear about the way and make jokes about it. It wouldn't be the way if there weren't jokes about it. So they say, the way's brightness looks like darkness. Advancing on the way feels like retreating. The plain way seems far going. The height of power seems a valley. The amplest power seems not enough. The firmest power seems feeble. Perfect whiteness looks dirty. The pure and simple looks chaotic. The great square has no corners. The great vessel is never finished. The great tone is barely heard. The great thought can't be thought. The way is hidden in its namelessness. But only the way begins, sustains, fulfills.
It's what they've been calling Jesus. And this is what is called Sophia, Yah's way. This is how important the rulers have been suppressing the way and creating false books so they can steal the way. The way is our divine rights of use. We got the right to use the way. It's something in law called the right of way. So if you understood what I just said, we have the right to the way. The right of way. We have a right of way. See, if we understand how to use law, we'll know how to use the way. As we see, the way is so smooth. And as we finish see, as they say, children of God, children of the way. So we will return to 42 on our instructions.
42. Children of the way. The way bears one. The one bears two. The two bears three. It's amazing how, when you stop and think, how a family begins. It'll be a man. He gets to know the woman. They intertwine. The next thing, there's three. And it's just amazing how it all gets started. The three bears the 10,000 things. Just look at that. The 10,000 things carry the yin on their shoulders and hold in their arms the yang. Yin yang. Ain't that beautiful? We're talking about the way here. Whose interplay of energy makes harmony. People despise orphans, widows, outcasts. Yet that's was king and ruler called themselves. Whatever you lose, you've won. Whatever you win, you've lost. What others teach, I say to you, I say too, violence and aggression destroy themselves. My teaching rests on that.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the Fatiha means when it says the straight path.
Sure.
See, ain't no lose or win on the straight path. Because you ain't veering from the straight path. The veer means to win, or to veer means to lose.
That's right.
If you're on the straight path, you don't want. Ain't no winning or losing. Because it ain't no more playing. Oh, you play to win or lose.
That's right. look at basketball and football. What all they set out on their goal to do. It's to win.
In the wrong way.
In the wrong way. Because I'm glad you said that, because that ain't winning there. No matter whether you play the game, you win or lose, that ain't got nothing pertaining to the truth. That's all about vanity. Just to kiss a trophy at the end. Playing for either what they call with names like body football. And there's a name for the basketball, I can't think of it right now. The trophy that they call that. But and you see at the end, but it was the Stanley Cup, they raised that cup. That's what that's all about. And we bring from 1 to 2 to 3, and this is what they become. They want to be part of and participate in. We are going down the wrong road.
It's hard to get across knowledge. It very much is. So someone is bringing knowledge. We need to have some mercy. Because in these times, people have no knowledge. They don't know why they exist. They don't know what they are. They don't know what the universe is made of. They don't know what a true atom is, a gas is.
That's right.
All they know is what your enemy of the creator has made you. And that's never been knowledge. And so it's very difficult in a time of ignorance for people to want to hear what they already know. They already know they're not doing the best they can be doing.
That's right.
But that's the point. If you know, then why are you not doing it? And to discover the greatest knowledge, I guess, has not been a task, except maybe for the enemy of the creator. And he won his task, as in conquering. Oh, he's pleased with the conquering that he has done. To get 1% of the creator's people is a blessing for him. But he got more than that. When we're talking about ignorance, ignorance is at an all-time high.
I'm telling you.
9 out of 10 people do not know. For if they knew, they would be doing what they know. And what's the know greater than the creator? We got 5 more minutes. So we'll do another instruction. 43. This heading is water and stone.
Water and stone.
Water and stone. What's softest in the world rushes and runs over what is hardest in the world? See, these are such fine, refined thoughts that man in modern form ain't nowhere near this amplitude in contemplation. That he has not digged in himself because he is technologically distracted. In the past, in the ancient, their technology was the knowledge. This same knowledge that we're talking about. You was to wake up every day getting knowledge so you practice the knowledge that you was learning.
Yeah.
But today, convenience in the modern world is the term that has distracted and handicapped modern humanity and put humans in a wheelchair, in a fast wheelchair called a car. And now he's fast gone out of the way. Completely off, not on and off, completely off of the way. The softest, the most gentle thing in the world runs and rushes over the most hardest thing in the world. That's a deep contemplation. The immaterial enters the impenetrable. The only knowledge can enter the impenetrable, which is self. Knowledge of self is the only thing that can penetrate self. And if self don't want that penetrated, then he will not have any knowledge of himself. Last sentence. So I know the good in not doing. The wordless teaching, the prophet in not doing. Not many people understand this knowledge. And it will be hard. Just by understanding this knowledge, it would transform you as it did me.
That's right.
These teachers have you sitting down. Before I had this, I was a person moving in the world like anyone else. It's until the way came and it started teaching you to be still. And I know you can do it because I was able to do it in a city. So you can do it anywhere. You don't have to go to the mountaintop. You don't have to go to anywhere. You can start with the knowledge just by applying the knowledge wherever you at. But the thing is, I didn't make no money from it. But I got knowledge from it. And we'll close, but stay in the opening of the divine creator. Allah wallah. As-salam and wadu.